Harper Business and HarperAudio present Speak Memorably, The Art of Captivating an Audience by Bill McGowan and Juliana Silva. This is Bill McGowan. A note before we begin. Don't forget to download the accompanying enhancement PDF from your audiobook provider. It contains charts, graphs, and more, and will be referred to throughout as the enhancement. To Vivian and Anna, two immensely quotable women. Those who tell the stories rule the world. Hopi American Indian proverb. Introduction. In 2014, I wrote my first book, Pitch Perfect, How to Say It Right the First Time Every Time. At the time, I thought it represented everything I wanted to say about being the very best communicator you could be in a variety of different life situations. I'm proud and thankful that it still does. But wow, what a difference a decade can make. Today, there are so many more scenarios to consider and sensitivities to respect. At that time, Zoom was something you did when you floored the accelerator in your car. TikTok? That was the sound of an antique clock. AI? Isn't that the Stanley Kubrick-Steven Spielberg movie? Publicly saying outrageous things got you chastised and isolated, not idolized. That was before unhinged became the new authentic. Established institutions like Ivy League universities were rock solid enough that they could shrug off the effects of a bad day of testimony from their leaders on Capitol Hill and return to their ivory towers unscathed. Today, an ill-conceived and poorly executed performance in front of the microphones and cameras can result in their very existence being questioned and their biggest donors hiding their checkbooks. Years ago, many of us were unaware that the expression ladies and gentlemen and you guys were living on borrowed time. We seemed to be a bit more tolerant of opposing viewpoints, a bit more patient while listening to others. Our culture had not yet fully devolved into a full-fledged shouting match between two echo chambers. That 24/7 dysfunctional din has escalated the noise level so high that to stand out and get noticed, some mistakenly think that establishing a distinctiveness requires cringeworthy bad behavior. This book is committed to steering us around that unseemly pothole in our communication, guiding us to an elevated and enduring stature that never goes out of style. Together, we will explore the antidote to bland, boring, and forgettable. Attention that is based on cleverness and wisdom has a much longer lifespan. Today, being memorable is the holy grail of communication. At my company, we teach this every day to our clients because if they'd been coached before, typically they've been chasing a dusty and dated definition of success, one that's predicated on being messaged. The 3 edicts: come up with 3 key messages, keep bridging back to those messages, and tell them what you're going to tell them, and tell them what you told them. Given all that's changed, it would seem to be an ideal time to offer a new set of ground rules for effective communication skills, especially at work, where they play a prominent role in determining our future success. These ground rules stress being memorable over just being messaged. Here's why memorable is a worthy aspiration. If you say something that rattles around in people's brains for a few hours, a few days, or longer, you've hit the communications jackpot. You are much more likely to persuade and influence others to see merit in your point of view. And so much of our professional communication is about getting buy-in and swaying people to adopt our point of view. But before you can coax people to see eye to eye with you, you have to hook their attention and keep it, something that's hard to do given the forgettable communication scourge that permeates every level of the business world. At work, a development that has been more of an insidious creep than a radical change is the proliferation of meetings. In a recent poll, 93% of U.S. workers identified meetings as the biggest bane of their professional existence. When asked what's wrong with meetings, 45% said they're too long, and 49% said
Sample complete. Ready to continue?